It's the richest place in America, not Beverly Hills, not Miami Beach. A tiny island you can't drive to, walk to, or accidentally stumble into holds the highest property values in the entire country. An island where the average resident makes more than most CEOs, where a median home costs nearly $10 million, and where even getting onto the ferry requires clearance just to step onto the land. This is Fisher Island, Florida, a place with no schools, no crime, no traffic lights, and almost no outsiders. A private world built on old money, new money, and a century of power plays that turned a barren sandbar into America's ultimate gated community. But the story of how this island became a billionaire fortress is stranger than you think, because it all starts with a single deal between a real estate tycoon and a man who once controlled the entire city of Miami. And that deal changed the island forever. To understand how Fisher Island became the wealthiest zip code in the United States, we have to start with the man who traded a whole island for a yacht. In the early 1900s, Fisher Island wasn't Fisher Island. It was just a pile of sand sitting off the coast of Miami, empty, uninhabited, and basically worthless. Then came Carl Fisher, one of America's greatest real estate visionaries. He built Miami Beach, he promoted Florida to the world, and he loved making outrageous deals. So when William Vanderbilt, yes, of those Vanderbilts, wanted more privacy near Miami, Fisher made him an offer. Vanderbilt would give Fisher his massive yacht in exchange for the entire island. A yacht for an island. Probably the greatest real estate flip in American history. Vanderbilt built a lavish private estate, importing everything from European tiles to exotic plants. Celebrities, politicians, and the ultra-wealthy visited for private parties sheltered away from the public eye. And while the rest of Florida was being developed for millions of tourists, Fisher Island remained something else entirely. A playground with no intention of ever becoming accessible to normal people. The island was never meant to be shared, only inherited, but the world was about to change, and so was the island. And the turning point came in the form of a development war that transformed Fisher Island into something even the Vanderbilts never imagined. By the 1970s, the original families who once owned Fisher Island were gone. Their homes sat empty. The island had become forgotten land, expensive but stagnant. Then developers noticed something unusual. Fisher Island was one of the last pieces of private waterfront land anywhere near Miami, but transforming it meant fighting through lawsuits, political pressure, and a community on Miami Beach that didn't want ultra-luxury towers blocking their views. What followed was a multi-year legal war. Developers wanted density. Miami Beach residents wanted the island controlled. Environmentalists wanted no development at all. The solution? A compromise that accidentally created the most exclusive zip code in America. Developers were allowed to build, but only a limited number of ultra-luxury residences. No high-rises, no hotels, no tourism, no public beach. Just a private, high-security residential island with membership-only amenities, a private ferry system, and enough restrictions to guarantee the one thing the wealthy value most: absolute control over who enters. That compromise, intended to limit power, created a place that would soon attract billionaires from around the world. But exclusivity alone wasn't enough, because what really made Fisher Island elite was the decision to cut it off from the rest of the world entirely. There are no bridges to Fisher Island, no roads, no public transportation, no casual visitors. To get there, you must be approved, registered, and cleared, even if you're just the driver delivering groceries. Residents use a private ferry that runs 24/7, and each ferry arrival is monitored, logged, and restricted. Every person, every vehicle, every single time. This isn't a neighborhood, it's a controlled entry system, and that barrier alone skyrocketed its exclusivity. Because while Palm Beach, Beverly Hills, and Atherton all have wealthy residents, none of them can guarantee total isolation from the outside world. Fisher Island can. That isolation became the island's brand. Because while Palm Beach, Beverly Hills, and Atherton all have wealthy residents, none of them can guarantee total isolation from the outside world. Fisher Island can. That isolation became the island's brand. Privacy became the product, and the ultra-rich were willing to pay for it. But the next stage of the transformation came when developers realized they weren't just selling homes. They were selling an entire lifestyle that didn't exist anywhere else in America. Fisher Island's amenities are not normal amenities. They're engineered to be better than anything money can buy on the mainland. Residents get a private beach with imported sand, a world-class marina for yachts, multiple upscale restaurants, an exclusive golf course, a luxury spa, tennis courts, private security, concierge services, and even their own post office. Everything is designed so residents never need to leave the island unless they want to, and because the amenities themselves are private, not open to Miami, and not open to tourists, membership is tied directly to property ownership. Buy a home, buy into the island lifestyle. Don't buy a home, don't set foot on the island. This model created a feedback loop. More exclusivity leads to higher prices, which leads to richer residents, which then leads to more exclusivity. By the early 2000s, Fisher Island wasn't just a luxury enclave, it was the top of America's property pyramid. But the reason it ultimately became the richest zip code in the country wasn't just wealth, it was who wanted to live there. Because Fisher Island attracts a very specific type of buyer, and they changed the island forever. The island only has around 700 to 800 residents at any given time. Many don't live there full time. Some only visit a few weeks a year, but they all have one thing in common. They value privacy more than luxury. Residents include crypto billionaires, European elites, heirs, celebrities, and international business owners. Many of them choose Fisher Island for one reason: you can disappear here, no paparazzi, no crowds, no journalists. Most residents have multiple homes across the world: New York penthouses, Hamptons estates, European villas, but Fisher Island is where they go when they don't want anyone to know where they are. And that secrecy created a paradox. The richer the island became, the more people wanted to live there, and the more people wanted to live there, the more expensive it became, which leads to the single factor that pushed Fisher Island above Atherton and every other wealthy zip code in America. Property values reached a level almost no one could compete with. Today, the median home price on Fisher Island is around $10 million, not the average, the median. Many units sell for far more. Penthouse sales can hit 30 or 40 million. Even the smallest condos can cost 5 million and up. The island has no cheap entry point, no starter homes, no middle class. In 2025, Fisher Island officially became the #1 most expensive zip code in the United States, surpassing Atherton for the first time in almost a decade. Not because it changed, but because the wealthy changed. More global buyers, more demand for privacy, more money seeking safe, private real estate. And Fisher Island, a place born from a yacht trade, shaped by lawsuits, and locked behind a ferry system, became the perfect answer, the ultimate sanctuary for the ultra-rich. But the real question is this: what does it mean for America when the wealthiest place in the country is an island most people will never see? Fisher Island isn't just a wealthy neighborhood, it's a symbol of what wealth means today. A world where privacy is the new luxury, where exclusivity is the product, where the richest Americans choose to live somewhere the rest of the country can't access at all. From a forgotten sandbar, to a private Vanderbilt estate, to the most valuable real estate zip code in the country, Fisher Island shows how wealth shapes land, and how land shapes power. And in a time when America's wealth gap keeps growing, Fisher Island stands as the physical reminder of just how far the ultra-rich will go to build a world completely separate from everyone else.